9. Famous creatures. Number 9. Heidi. The cross-eyed North American opossum achieved worldwide fame after pictures of her were posted online in 2010. Thanks to all the internet notoriety, she soon became one of the most popular animals in the Leipzig Zoo in Germany. At the height of her fame, Heidi inspired a YouTube song and a line of stuffed animals and amassed more than 332,000 Facebook followers, more than 3 times the followers of German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Sorry to say, though, Heidi passed away in 2011. Number 8. Puxatawny Phil, arguably the world's most famous groundhog. Phil has been giving his weather forecast in Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania since February 2nd of 1886, and although some believe it's the same animal, groundhogs only have a lifespan of approximately a decade. Those folks in the tuxes and top hats at the annual ceremony are part of a group called the Inner Circle, and they serve as caretakers to Phil. Aside from his annual prognostications, Phil's most memorable appearance is likely 1993's Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And here's a little spoiler alert. The Inner Circle actually decides whether or not Phil sees his shadow a few days before the ceremony. Sorry for the buzzkill. Number 7. Jumbo the elephant. The word jumbo was derived from the Swahili word for chief, Jumbi, and this African elephant, born in 1860, weighed 6 tons and stood 13 feet. After moving from the French Sudan to Paris, he landed at the London Zoo, where he remained for 16 years, becoming a hugely popular attraction. The largest elephant in captivity at that time, Jumbo is thought to be the first global animal superstar. Jumbo mania emerged when he debuted in the U.S. in 1882. You could find everything from Jumbo soaps and jewelry to souvenirs and other ornaments. When the elephant died in a railway accident in 1885, the world mourned. And though he's been gone a while, the name Jumbo lives on big time. Number 6. Jonathan the tortoise, estimated to be at least 184 years old. Jonathan is thought to be the oldest living animal in the world. He was brought to the island of Saint Helena in the South Atlantic in 1882, and he still lives there on the grounds of Plantation House, where the governor resides. A photograph dating from around 1886, which you can see here, is thought to picture Jonathan. With a birth date estimated at 1832, he could be the oldest known reptile living in the world today. According to Guinness, the verified record for world's oldest tortoise belonged to Tui Malila, who died in 1965, aged 189. As of 2015, Jonathan was reportedly alive and well and is still able to hit on some younger female tortoises. Seems like slow and steady really does win the race. Number 5. The dodo. Indigenous to Mauritius, an island in the Indian Ocean, the dodo has the sad distinction of being one of the most famous of all animal extinctions. Europeans discovered the large flightless bird in 1598 and initially hunted them for the meat, only to find dodos didn't taste so good. Aside from hunting, the most likely causes for the dodo's decline include the destruction of their nests by animals like dogs, cats, and rats introduced by the Europeans. The hapless dodo was extinct by 1680. But Europe had a demand for specimens of the bird, and collectors sometimes tried to carry dodo remains back home. The mummified foot and head of a dodo can be seen at the Oxford University Museum of Natural History in England, and New York's American Museum of Natural History has a dodo skeleton on display. Number 4. The Humanzee. So take a look at this creature. Do you think it could be a Humanzee? The missing link between humans and apes. Oliver was a former performing ape acquired by trainers Frank and Janet Berger in the 1960s, but they later sold him to the owner of a theme park in California called Enchanted Village. Because of his unusually human-like face and because he always walked upright, Oliver was promoted in a show labeling him a human-ape hybrid, or potentially a new subspecies. In 1982, the Los Angeles Times actually featured an extensive article on the subject. subject. Oliver was later sent to an open-air cage in Bear, Texas called Primarily Primates, where his DNA was tested by a geneticist. Turned out, Oliver's human-like characteristics fell within the variables exhibited by the common chimpanzee, so no missing link. But while the average male chimp lifespan is 35, Oliver made it to the ripe old age of 55, passing away in 2012. Number 3. HAM, the astro chimp. Here's the first hominid in space. The name HAM was an acronym for Holloman Aerospace Medical Center in New Mexico, where he took his flight training, so to speak. NASA chose him to occupy a Mercury capsule that was shot into space in 1961. The trip lasted over 16 minutes and covered 155 miles. But due to a problem with the capsule's oxygen supply, the flight was abandoned. However, HAM was none the worse for wear. Recovered a few hours after landing, he snacked on an apple and an orange upon leaving the rocket. For the remaining 17 years of his life, HAM lived in Washington, D.C.'s National Zoo. Number 2. Dolly the Sheep. Quite possibly the most famous sheep in the world. Even though she wasn't the first animal to be cloned, Dolly received massive attention from the media thanks to being the first animal to be cloned from an adult cell. Time magazine featured Dolly in a special report, and Science magazine proclaimed her the breakthrough of 1996. The sheep never left the Roslin Institute in Edinburgh, Scotland, and produced 6 lambs in total. She died in 2003. However, the Dolly sheep's 4 identical clones, aged 9 years old, were healthy and alive as of July 2016. And did you know, Dolly the Sheep was named for singer Dolly Parton. Number 1. Sgt Stubby. This sergeant had 4 legs and served in World War I. Named for his short tail, Stubby was a dog thought to have been a bull terrier or perhaps a Boston Terrier. He was found on the grounds of Yale University by members of the 102nd Infantry who were training there. One soldier adopted Stubby and smuggled the dog to France aboard the troop ship. Once there, Stubby ended up in the trenches with the 102nd Regiment, fighting in 17 battles over 18 months. He improved morale, learned how to locate injured soldiers, and knew how to alert his unit when to duck for cover. Stubby even helped liberate a French town from the Germans and was responsible for capturing a German spy single-handedly, or single-pawedly, as the case may be. After that event, Stubby was promoted to sergeant through combat, the only dog to receive that honor. After the war, Stubby became a celebrity and was one of the earliest team mascots of the Georgetown Hoyas. He died in his sleep in 1926.